It was crazy. It was completely crazy. I guess that they were also saying bad words to us. It was the craziest experience in my life. Seeing them going beyond any limitations, everything was so intense, everything was so loud. And it was one of the moments in which you could have said, I can die. What? Even the helicopter now? I'm going mad, or what is happening? I started to see all these thousands of sadhus that were already in the water, and the intensity was getting stronger. Suddenly, once that you enter into the water after all of that, you have that feeling of nothingness. How can I describe the Kumbh Mela? It was crazy. It was completely crazy. I was feeling drunk and ecstatic, and the body was not there. I was not feeling the tiredness. I was not having neither voice anymore, but I was still screaming and shouting with them. Like everything was beyond any kind of imagination. And we were walking with the men. So because there were also women that were walking, of course, but they were not looking at us in a good way, because we were wearing clothes, we were foreigners, we were not covered by ashes, and they were a kind of disturbed and angry to see us in the middle of the group. And I guess that they were also saying bad words to us. So we received a kind of very strong and energy from them, like a kind of, oh, maybe we did a mistake, maybe we should not be here, what we are doing. But at the same time, all the men, so it was a kind of a flow of men and a flow of women, all sadhus, but we were on the men's side, and everybody was just protecting us. Like, they were, no worries, come, just let's continue, let's walk. So we were part of them somehow, and they were seeing us like them, like even if we were not belonging to any akadas, but it was just somehow they were perceiving our purity and our I don't know. So we were walking and it was the craziest experience in my life. Seeing them going beyond any limitations, without eating nor drinking, and just chanting and screaming, and moved by this willingness to reach the river and take this sacred bath, because it was the day of the sacred bath. So every step was a step towards the liberation. Every step was something was released, something was left there on the floor, and we were like, the kind of energy that I felt walking with them was liberating. It was a kind of, the freedom is getting closer and closer and closer, and all the layers that are not serving us are dropped. And this was happening by walking, by chanting. Some of them were smoking chilam, and everything was an offering. Everything was, uh, yeah, an offering to the divine, and in completely surrendering. There were also kids initiated into the akadas, like people with motorbike, and like people with the trishula, and like it was a kind of life and chaos. And I remember one of the moments of the walk that we were feeling like there was this a kind of a sensation of like everything was so intense, everything was so loud. And it was one of the moments in which you could have said, I can die. Like I cannot anymore. It's too much. And on that moment, exactly on that moment, I hear the sound of an helicopter that was coming close by. And then I said, what? Even the helicopter now? I'm going mad, or what is happening? And then I just look into the sky, and I've seen this helicopter that was just on top of our heads. And I say, what is happening now? And then they open the door, and a flow of, how do you say? And then from the helicopter, a waterfall of rose petals, red rose petals, started to fall down on our heads. And in that moment of intense pain, I would say, inner pain that we were experiencing, the waterfall of rose petals was coming on to us, and it was a kind of, blessing, and at the same time an expression of gratitude for what we were doing. And it was a kind of support to continue and to reach the river. So full of these petals, we continue to walk. The last kilometers were even louder. We reached the bridge, and I remember that I started to see all these thousands of sadhus that were already in the water, and the intensity was getting stronger because they started to run, and we started to run. And so the last kilometers was just a marathon. So that feeling that I had since I last Kedarnath was actually completed when I reached the Ganga, because the marathon was really there. Like we were running, running, running to reach the water. Yeah. And then we did it. And suddenly, once that you enter into the water after all of that, you have that feeling of nothingness. Like, what else? What else? That's it. And in that state, I just perceived that we are not able to really understand life logically. We cannot try to make sense of things. We are always looking for explanations, for reasons. But life is beginning when you really silence your mind